after many years of being in this fashion world, which is very glamorous, dressing beautifully, always being at the finest openings, knowing all the people, being loving and, but artificial, I really realized that this is such an artificial world. So what happened for me is that my rent went from $5,000 to $20,000 in 1987. And I just said to myself, doesn't make sense. I had purchased the land here in Jamaica. I had been doing a lot of personal growth work. And I recognized that, we just don't really know our powers as human beings. And about like 86, I developed a thyroid condition from menopause. And I was able to heal it in 6 months. So that alone helped me to see that we're lost as a human race. We really depend on this medication. They wanted me to take all this and have this operation and do all this. And I said, no, let me see if I can heal it. So I healed it, and to the doctor's surprise, they had never heard of, people healing a thyroid condition. But I had put together my little formula using Louise Hayes's affirmation, eating a special way, very vegetarian, doing Kalani's, cleaning out my system, and recognizing and pulling away from my world and just focusing on self. Well, when I really accomplished that, I said, wow, this is something that I can assist others to recognize that they have powers also. So I came to Jamaica, and I just gave up everything in New York. Came to Jamaica and lived in a tent. And as I said, I was like an old horse being put out in the pastures to kind of find yourself. So I lived in my little tent, and I built Jackie's on the Reef, not knowing really what I was doing. And from time to time, I would ask God, so what do I do next? Well, how do I go about this? And a little voice would come and tell me, well, do this and look at that. And over the years, I recognized that all of my life, I had never been able to make a decision just by making a decision. I would always listen to my inner voices, but I didn't know that they were my inner voices until I started really working on myself here. Okay, my little temple. Well, actually, how I built this temple is when I first started, here we built a little cottage, and I used only the natural stone, which is limestone. And then we quarried all of the stone right here in this area to build this building. Well, limestone actually, over the years of compression in the earth, turns to crystal. So basically, this is a crystal temple. And I've used all natural resources. All of the beds are made of bamboo. I go out, like for instance, I think what was it, Ivan, the big hurricane, Ivan, destroyed all of my vegetation in the front. And we got these big stones out and of the sea, which is coral, big pieces of coral. So instead of me breaking them up, I laid them out on the land, and I call it my Stonehenge. Yes, I have a little farm across the street, and we grow tomatoes and callaloo, pak choy. We have all the different fruit trees, mangoes, gooseberries, apple, pineapple, and I like I don't use any kind of artificial or fertilizer or chemicals. It's all natural. We use ashes to destroy the bugs that are eating the vegetables or the fruits. And I pick the almonds off the ground, and we take the flesh off of the almond and make a juice. So when I showed, I was giving Jamaican samples of this almond drink, and no one could believe. You did what? You all these almonds, we just throw them away. We just let them rot on the ground. So what I do is I take every fruit that I can find, and make it a juice. All of those flowers are also doing things to assist cleaning out your system, calming you down. So from the Tao tradition, I've learned a little, quite a bit of helping people to do it naturally. We have a raw foods retreat going on. It's interesting, you'd asked me about the floors here. We do, every year we paint this floor. It's concrete. And I do it one solid color. And then I give my staff each a color, the color for a chakra. And I say, the first time we did it, I said, look, we'll start over here and just do whatever your design you would like to make. It was so interesting because they'd start off doing it very small. And I'd say, no, you have to really express yourself. And by the time they got into the other side of the floor, they were really expanding and doing big designs. When I was, living this other life, one of the things I did was I took care of myself. I used to go disco roller skating in Brooklyn at the Empire. I rode my bicycle. I'd get me and my boyfriend, we would ride from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night around New York. Jackie's on the Reef is a place where people can come, get unbelievable treatments, massages, facials, even do body, past lives and Reiki. Because for me, it's about waking people up, waking you up. We do craniosacral, which is also helps you to wake up and clean out the brain, the fluids of the brain, get everything moving. Because it's so important to revamp your whole system in order to move forward. So you have to take care of this is a precious body. We have no concept how precious it is. So it's all about us just taking care of it and loving it. And that's really the key for me. Jackie's on the Reef is assisting others to learn to love self. Maladoma is coming in at the end of this month. He's an African shaman, and he assists you to learn about your ancestors. I teach something called the breath. We are taught to breathe shallow from the chest. That is so that as long as you breathe only from here, you will never evolve. We are taught as children to breathe from here, but naturally we breathe from the diaphragm. And when you lay down, your body automatically kicks in to breathe from the diaphragm. But even now teachers are teaching, the breath. But I explain it because we have so much power. We only use a certain part of the brain. You can move mountains with the breath. So it's all about just waking up and recognizing how to breathe correctly so that you can do whatever you want to do. All actors, singers, runners, any kind of sports, they're trained to breathe from the diaphragm. But the minute they stop doing whatever they're doing, they go back to the shallow breath. And it's just for even myself, I have to consciously make myself breathe from the diaphragm. And sometimes I look at and I say, are you breathing? I'm holding my breath half the time. We are so programmed to be so fearful that we don't know how to breathe. And that's really got what the problem is on our planet, because we've all been programmed to be controlled. You can't be controlled if you're breathing from the diaphragm. Talking about this woman who walked around you and you had some kind of problem, she understood the power. And she was able to channel that power into herself to assist you. And that's what it's all about. You know, we're just these incredible human beings. Little do we know that we are so incredible. Because the negative has to be overpowered by the light. And so I guess I would consider myself a light worker, or a show, you know, helping people to find their path. But we don't beat you over your head. We do it very, very easily, especially like, for instance, at dinner or breakfast, when we sit around and we talk and tell our stories. And when I tell my stories, people are inspired. So I assist others to wake up also by my inspiration, by showing them and telling them they can also do whatever they want to do. It's not just haphazard. We're here on planet Earth to make a difference. And everyone has some kind of role in this wonderful, wonderful making a difference world. So that's my little story.
You prefer it with the coconut?
You know, not necessarily. This is the Paradise Mango Papaya Pie.